Last Mother's Day, my mother charged me for being her daughter. Not emotionally. Not metaphorically. She sent an actual bill.
$347,000.
Itemized. Diapers, school fees,
Birthday parties.
even my braces. And she didn't just send it to me. She CC'd every single relative in our family. 48 people. The subject line?
The cost of raising a disappointment.
She expected me to cry. To apologize. To shrink the way I always had. But this time, I replied with one photo. By the next morning, 47 people had cut her off. And the 48th? My grandmother didn't block her. She destroyed her. But to understand that moment, you need to know how I got there.
My name is Bianca.
I'm 28. I work in finance in Boston. Numbers are predictable. They follow rules. People, especially my family, they rewrite reality whenever it suits them.
I live in a small apartment.
Nothing impressive, but I earned every inch of it myself.
My older sister Vicky?
She lives in a beautiful house my parents helped her buy. $80,000 gift. Posted proudly on Instagram. When I graduated, I got a text. 3 weeks late.
No celebration. No pride.
Just acknowledgement. That was the pattern. Vicky was the success story. I was the problem. At least, that's what I was told. My dad tried to soften things sometimes. Your mom just expresses things differently, he'd say. I believed that for years. Until I started working in finance. Because here's what finance teaches you. If something doesn't add up, someone is hiding something. 3 years ago, I started noticing things. My student loans didn't make sense. My credit report didn't make sense. My tax records didn't make sense. So I started digging. Quietly. Carefully. And I created a folder. I named it one thing. Insurance. I told myself I'd never use it. That it was just for peace of mind. But 2 weeks before Mother's Day, my mom announced a massive family gathering. 48 people. Everyone invited.
No exceptions.
Something about it felt planned. Like a stage. Like I was being set up. The morning of the event, my grandmother pulled me aside. She gripped my arm tightly and said,
Whatever happens today, don't stay quiet.
I didn't understand then. But I would soon. Because that afternoon, my mother stood up in front of everyone and turned my life into a public humiliation. And she thought I had nothing to fight back with. She was wrong.
Because sitting in my pocket
was 3 years of proof. And for the first time in my life, I was ready to use it. But what exactly was in that folder? That's where everything changes. The room went silent as my mother stood up.
Glass in hand.
Smile perfectly placed. She looked like the picture of grace. But I knew better. I've been thinking about motherhood, she began softly. People nodded. Smiled. Listened. I've been blessed with 2 daughters, she continued.
Pause.
One who has made me proud and one who hasn't. Eyes turned toward me.
Familia.
Expected. Then came the real blow. I thought it would be meaningful, she said. To show everyone what it actually costs to raise a child like Bianca. Phones started buzzing.
One after another's.
48 notifications. I didn't even need to open mine. I already knew. The bill. The one she'd been preparing. The one she sent to everyone. Voices began murmuring. People scrolling. Reading. Processing. She even framed it. Hung it above the fireplace.
Like a trophy.
Just a reminder, she said sweetly.
For all of us.
The room waited.
For me to break. For me to cry.
For me to apologize. That's how it always went. But this time? Something inside me didn't move.
Because for once,
I wasn't unprepared.
I let the silence stretch.
Let her enjoy the moment. Then I reached for my phone. Mom, I said calmly. Her smile faltered. I think it's only fair we look at all the numbers. Confusion. Then tension. What are you doing? She asked. I smiled.
Balancing the account.
I hit send. 48 emails. All at once. The room filled again with notification sounds. But this time, they weren't hers. They were mine. What did you just send? She snapped.
The truth.
People started opening it. And I watched it happen. One face at a time. Confusion. Then realization. Then shock. Linda, my uncle said slowly. What is this?
My mother's confidence cracked.
And for the first time, she didn't look in control. Because her version of the story was about to collapse. And I hadn't even shown the worst part yet.
Because what I sent first?
That was just the beginning.
What came next?
Was the part she never thought I'd uncover. Let's start simple, I said.
You charged me for college.
I looked around the room. But I paid for my own education.
Silence. I pulled up the document.
My grandparents created equal college funds for both daughters. People nodded. That sounded right. Olive or 10, 89,000 each. I paused.
Vicky used hers.
I looked at my mother. Mine? I tapped my phone. Transferred into her personal account. Gasps. A week later? I scrolled. She bought a luxury car.
My father stood up slowly.
Is this true? He asked. She didn't answer. Because she couldn't. But I wasn't done. For 6 years, I continued. She also claimed me as a dependent on her taxes. Confusion. Then realization. That's fraud? Someone whispered. About $30,000 worth. The room shifted. Now people weren't just uncomfortable. They were angry. Then I dropped the next piece. My credit score when I was 22?
520.
Faces changed. Because someone opened credit cards in my name. I turned to my sister and had them shipped to your house. She froze. Tell them. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't know, she whispered. You knew enough, I replied. The room erupted into voices. Accusations. Questions. Everything was unraveling. But I still had one more file. The one that explained everything. My mother tried to regain control. Crying. Playing victim. I did everything for this family. But it didn't work anymore. Not this time. Because I finally said the one thing she never expected. You didn't hate me because I failed. I looked her directly in the eyes. You hated me because I reminded you of something. Her face went pale. And that's when I opened the final file. The screenshot. The one she thought would never be seen. I hit send. And everything stopped. Because what was in that message didn't just expose her. It destroyed her.
48 phones lit up again.
This time, no one spoke. They just read. Slowly. Carefully. Then came the reaction.
Shock.
Disbelief.
Silence. The message was simple.
A text my mother had sent years ago. She's not his biological daughter.
Don't tell anyone.
The air in the room changed instantly. My father went still. Completely still. Is this true? He asked quietly. No answer. My sister spoke instead. It's real. That was enough. He walked out. Didn't argue. Didn't shout. Just left. And in that moment, everything my mother built collapsed. I looked at her. For the first time. She wasn't powerful. She wasn't in control. She was just exposed. You spent 28 years punishing me, I said. Because I reminded you of your mistake. She broke down. But no one comforted her. Not anymore. Because the truth had changed everything.
Later, I found my dad outside.
Sitting in his car. Broken. I'm sorry, I said. He shook his head. Don't. Then he said something I'll never forget.
You're still my daughter. And just like that,
everything shifted. Not because of DNA, but because of choice. I went back inside. The house was emptying.
Family leaving.
Cutting ties. Walking away. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one being rejected. She was. That night, I set one boundary.
Don't contact me again.
No yelling. No anger. Just final. Because here's what I finally understood. Some relationships don't need fixing. They need ending. And sometimes, freedom doesn't come from being accepted. It comes from walking away.
So let me ask you.
If you were me, would you have exposed everything? Or stayed silent?